Today on General Hospital, Carly and Valentin see each other in a new light. Plus, Lulu and Nathan share a kiss, as do Dany and Charlotte. Molly, in one of Cody's shirts, and Cody in long johns, come downstairs at the stables after a marathon of lovemaking. Molly stayed longer than she initially planned and notes she should get home to her mom and Scout. Cody looks outside and says she's not going anywhere in this storm. Molly then checks her emails and freaks out over some big news. Cody presses her, and she explains she wrote a Western frontier romance novel, and that's why she was asking him so many cowboy-related questions these past few months. Molly tells him that she wrote novels when she was younger, and this is her first one since law school. She explains she wrote it for fun, but Christina went behind her back and submitted the manuscript to her old literary agent. The email was from her agent, who loved it. Molly says her agent is talking about a multi-book deal, but she's not going to pursue it because she has a job. Writing is only her hobby. Cody says it sounds like she's a great writer and he can't wait to read it. She can't wait to get back into his cozy bed, so he carries her upstairs. At Drew's, Tracy puts Martin's bourbon, which was in her heirloom decanter, into Scout's thermos and hands it to him. He refuses to sip out of a kid's pink princess thermos. The bickering resumes and the insults fly. Tracy eventually asks Martin why she hates him so much, and he reminds her that he ruined her life and destroyed his relationship with Lucy by leading him to believe she was cheating on him with Scott. Tracy laughs that Lucy is no big loss and reminds him that he found Lucy rolling in the hay with Scott, so she should have thanked him. Tracy also points out she's met all three of his exes, and he has a type, beautiful women who all have the same agenda, bleeding him dry. Martin points out the number of times she's been divorced and the swindlers she's been involved with. Tracy says it was her decades of trial and error that helped her realize the love of her life when he came along. They get into her history with Luke, and how, yes, at first he was after her money, but they soon realized what they had was real and worth fighting for. Martin reminds her that Laura was the love of Luke's life. Doesn't that bother her? Tracy says Luke and Laura's romance had nothing to do with what she and Luke had, and they found one another long after Luke and Laura's divorce. She believes their past loves, children, and broken hearts helped them see each other clearly. Tracy tells Martin that he will never have a lasting relationship until he can look at a woman and see her for who she is, not what he wants her to be. At the Ben-Jen Cafe, Nathan gets the power on, and Lulu hopes her message to Charlotte to stay put at the stables gets through. Lulu eventually gets a message from Charlotte that she's safe at the QS. Lulu decides to search around for some blankets but finds none. Instead, she finds a bottle of booze to keep them warm and entertained. She suggests they play two truths and a lie. As they play, it comes up that Nathan knows the entire periodic table by heart. She asks why, and he says his dad drilled it into him as a kid. Lulu recalls that he said his dad never paid much attention to him because he was adopted and Nina was their father's pride and joy. He says she's not wrong and his father was a businessman, and because he was terrible at math, he forced him into science. His father thought that would make him useful to him. However, it soon became clear he couldn't do anything but memorize facts, and so he lost interest in him. Lulu calls his dad an ass and an idiot for not seeing how wonderful and amazing he is. Dany and Charlotte break into the gatehouse, which is vacant since Michael and the kids moved up to the main house. They never made it to Carly's and sought refuge there. She finally gets her mom's messages and lets her know she's safe. Dany breaks out the s'more-making necessities, which Charlotte has never had. They soon chat about their families, and Charlotte admits people don't like hearing about her adventurous side and worldly knowledge as it reminds them who her dad is. He says he gets that, as his aunts and grandma always fear he's going to become more like his dad as he grows up. At Carly's, Valentin refuses to sit put any longer and is going to find Charlotte. Carly brings him a stronger coat, a flashlight, and a hand warmer. He then heads out into the elements. Carly eventually goes out herself and finds Valentin shivering and freezing at the end of her patio. She brings him back to the house. Carly lets him know Charlotte is safe and texted Lulu. She leads him to the fire to warm up and breaks out the good booze as well. Geesh, everyone is drinking their way through the storm. Valentin tells Carly she was right all along. Going out there was a suicide mission, and he didn't make it far. He had to turn around, which is when she appeared. He assumes she was coming after him and wonders why she'd risk her life for him. She says she knows what it's like to lose a parent and a child, and so she understood why he went out there. Jason, who has found Britt, busts into a cabin carrying her. Britt is passed out and they're both soaked and freezing. She comes to and can't believe he found her. He tells her that he'll always find her. Britt explains she was on her way back from Windermere, having rented her own boat, which started to sink in the rocky water and the storm. She thought she was going to die again until he came along in his boat. When she asks where they are, he says it's the harbor master's cabin on an island near Spoon Island. The storm was too strong to make it back to the mainland. Jason helps the freezing Britt get warm by moving her closer to the fire and cuddling her. Britt eventually feels better and later jumps out of bed in a towel, saying, "That's one way of curing hypothermia." Yes, it appears they made love off camera. Later, Jason tells her that he knows she doesn't trust him completely, but he wants to help her. She tells him to help her, he needs to know the truth, and she's been lying to him the entire time. At the stables, Cody comes downstairs, only to find Outback had been playing in Molly's work tote. He starts putting the contents back in and comes across her manuscript, Lord O' Sunrise. He decides, with Molly asleep upstairs, to read through it. At Drew Martin believes there is someone for him out there, and Tracy jokes that there is, as he's an easy mark. He notes that between the two of them, he's still brave enough to put his heart on the line. At the gatehouse, Dany and Charlotte finish their s'mores, and she laughs that he has chocolate on his face. When she tries to brush it off, they end up kissing. Yes, they are in fact second cousins once removed. GH sure does love its kissing cousin storylines lately. At her place, Carly tells Valentin that up until now, she thought he was reprehensible, but the look on his face before he went out that he was going to find Charlotte or die trying, and it made her realize he's not who she thought he was. He's realized the same about her. At the cafe, Lulu praises Nathan for being a good man. He came from money and didn't have to work, but he chose to become a cop, putting himself in danger to help people. He thanks her and wants nothing more than to be the man she sees him as. This leads to a kiss, which most viewers probably saw coming a mile away. At the harbor master's cabin, Jason knows Britt's been forced to lie to him and she can trust him. Britt knows. She confesses that she is being forced to complete her father's final project, and if she doesn't, they'll take away her meds. He asks who they are. On the next General Hospital, Lulu panics that Maxie would kill her for having feelings for Nathan, and Britt warns Jason that these people are seriously lethal. Plus, get more spoilers for all the soaps for Friday, January 30 right here.